This is War Room Moments, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and most relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. War Room Moments is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board. Here's your host, Jason Miller.
All right. Welcome to the War Room today. We have another great guest. Gonna definitely drop some good truth bombs on us today. No doubt about that. I always like to start the show off with a bit of an introduction, but I suck at it. So I'm just being truthful. But I really suck at doing introductions. So can you just give a 30-second soundbite, brother, on who you are and what your superpower is?
Yeah, it's a great one. Superpower. I'm Justin Arnold. I am a father of three. I am 43. I live here in Rochester, New York, but originally from Chicago suburbs. So I'm a Chicago food fan and a Chicago sports fan. I coach sports. I own a gym. I've authored 2 best-selling books. You know, you name it under the health and wellness window. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. So whether it be nutrition, whether it be life coaching, I'm just here to get people to move better or feel better and just live a better life ultimately. I love the outdoors. You do a lot of camping. And my superpower, man, I feel is just bringing joy into people's lives, especially through adversity, and just uh, really just feeling energies too in the room and absorbing those energies and just knowing what people need or want, especially from a client standpoint, before they even say it. So that's a little bit of me, and but again, grateful to be here, excited to be on here, and hopefully drop some nuggets and help some people as best as I can.
Yeah, man, that's a great superpower to have, right? I think oftentimes in business, sometimes we have to step back and take a look at why we did it in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So
Like, I guess I left off, like, I could say, like, I've always been able to adapt and
mhm.
navigate through challenges and adversity, and that's been my life story since pretty much birth. So I do that now, and I teach people how to do that. And even with my kids, I left off. I feel like I'm another superpower, just being an amazing dad. I will hold that title proudly. So
Well, man, if that's a superpower,
yeah.
I don't know if there's much left to even care about because that's the next humans that replace us. So there you go.
Right.
For sure.
So true. Amen.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I'm curious. Did you come from a family of entrepreneurs? Were you that kid that had a lemonade stand? Curious to know that.
Did have like lemonade stands, but I've been working for as long as I could because my parents were not entrepreneurs. They
Hmm.
were master's degrees educators, and it was like you had to go to school, you had to go to college, you had to get straight A's, and that pressure of that. But for me, I always felt like a kid that just I didn't fit in the mold of like that kind of structure. I would navigate to my grandma's farm in Western Illinois, and I love that. I was making $5 an hour since I was like 5 years old, and it wasn't even about the money. It was just like the freedom, the doing something. So I would
Hmm.
say like not really, but my grandparents, I come from a long line of farming that stopped at my grandparents. It doesn't exist anymore. So if anything, maybe that would be a little bit in the genealogy of like running your own business. But I would say no. It was more about go to school, get a good paying job, work for the man, essentially, without using those exact words.
Right.
Do the 9 to 5, do the safe thing, right? So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no, I didn't feel it was safe. I saw my parents working 6 jobs between the two of them, and I'm like, here's these guys with well-paying master's degrees, but living paycheck to paycheck, filing for bankruptcy twice, never going on vacations, constantly stressed. It's like this doesn't look joyful. Like I don't want that life. So
Yeah,
that got
right.
me into where that actually like I by just being self-aware of that, and it really has gotten me to where I am by now I've always said a testament, no matter what our earlier on when our family started, my wife and kids, we weren't in the best financial state. So like I'd always said, we're going to take vacations. there's benefits and purpose in that. So like I use the example of my parents and the work hard, live hard, die early type thing. And I feel like life's meant to be enjoyed, but it's also meant to be purposeful, and we're supposed to do things and provide a service and that sorts for people. So
Yeah, it's amazing that, you know, like I assume we're probably fairly close to the same age, but um like our parents and their parents, and they were subjected to that work hard your whole life and save your money and then die. I mean,
work long, go to school for like a third of your life, work
yeah,
like two-thirds of your life to
and then
enjoy a small percentage of it with
right,
money potentially when we're not physically or mentally as good as we could have been to enjoy all this stuff in our earlier years. So, yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I saw that message and I was like, screw that.
yeah, yeah,
Can I
yeah,
work hard and play hard at the same time? Like, you
right,
know,
right,
well,
right,
that's why I'm
and
big on health. Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I did that too. I did 23 years in the military, retired, and you know what? But I chose to do more. And the more was I chose to, really be involved in entrepreneurial things while I was in the military. And then it made it so much easier when I did leave, and my purpose was different. It was for service to country, but the truth of the matter is our education system raises employees. If nobody's figured that out yet. Right?
I think a lot of people, at least like I'm in the health world,
Yeah.
and a lot of at least the network of health entrepreneurs I'm with, we've been seeing that for like since we had kids and put them in it. Some of my friends are homeschooling because they can. I wish. So but I try to play as big as role as I can. I teach my kids to I've taught the what's called what I've called the grain of salt mentality, and
Mhm.
people have probably heard that phrase, but I tell my kids take everything with a grain of salt. Like there's facts, but just know those things can change. There's things we're even learning about history that are changing. There's things we're learning about Jesus that might be evolving what was going on during his time period. My daughter just came home yesterday, he's talking about the Crusades, and I was curious of how they're teaching the Crusades, and I was
Mhm.
like, I just said, take everything. Some things are opinion, and it was whoever survived enough to write this stuff down. So, you know, ask questions, be curious, but don't be religious to any of the information you get because one, the books are written from somebody else's perspective and opinion, and then a teacher is teaching it from their perspective and opinion. So
Mhm.
just keep an open mind that I wasn't given that. I wasn't told that. It was like, obey the rules, stay inside the line. Like, let's put it this way. I'll say this. This is a good example. We want kids to be creative. We say it anyways, but then they tell the kids, here's this, stay inside the line. And they mean that, right? Like, be a
Right.
good employee instead of a good employer. We don't teach kids, doesn't mean everybody should be an entrepreneur, right? It just means like we should to really be ourselves and really find ourselves, we should give some flexibility to it. Like what they're teaching in schools isn't what they really should be learning, at least in westernized school systems,
Yeah.
to live. And they were seeing that now in society. People are getting out, they're getting degrees and things that we'll never get a job in, spending all this money on the college degree, and then they don't even know how to balance their checkbook or save or
Right.
invest. And so
Yeah, that's the scary part, right? I mean, even, just to kind of go back and touch on what you said, I mean, at least I feel I grew up in when the legend becomes fact, print the legend, right? And that's what we were taught. Um,
yeah.
and it's a very closed-minded system of things, and it's no different in business, right? We're fed these things and told this is the way to do things, and so on and so forth. And people I work with, I meet them where they are and empower them to get where they want to go, right? The
I
vessel to
like
get
that.
there, I mean, there's tons of different vessels to get there, right? It's just
Mhm.
getting there. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
same thing in the health spectrum. I mean, I copy that as like, I had take people and I really listen to why they're here, not just like I want to lose weight or I want to get healthy or it's like why do you want what's the real reason? What's that going to bring you? What are you really searching after? And then we hold them to that, and then we get them there. And then when you know that, it's